Act 1, Scene 3. The Duke enters with senators and officers. These reports are inconsistent. You can't trust them. It's true they're inconsistent. My letters say there are 107 ships, and mine say 140, and mine say 200. But often in these cases, reports are just estimates. The important thing is that they all say a Turkish fleet is approaching Cyprus. Yes, we get the idea. The inconsistency doesn't make me think the reports are all wrong. I have no doubt about what they're basically saying, and it's frightening. Hello! Hey, hello! It's a messenger from the warships. A sailor enters. Why are you here? Signor Angelo told me to come here and tell you that the Turkish fleet is heading for Rhodes, not Cyprus. What do you think about this change? They can't have changed. There's no way this could be true. It's a trick to confuse us. Think about how important Cyprus is to the Turks, and remember that they could capture Cyprus more easily since it isn't as well protected as Rhodes is. If we keep these things in mind, we can't possibly imagine that the Turks would be so incompetent as to put off for at last what they want to achieve first, setting aside something easy and profitable to do something dangerous and pointless. No, I think we can be confident that the Turks aren't really headed to Rhodes. Here's some more news coming in. A messenger arrives. Sir, the Turks sailed to Rhodes where they joined with another fleet. That's just what I thought. How many, can you guess? 30 ships. Now they've turned around and are clearly heading for Cyprus. Signor Montano, your brave and loyal servant, gives you this information and asks you to send reinforcements to relieve him. Then it's certain they're heading for Cyprus. Is Marco Lucios in town? No, he's in Florence. Write to him immediately. Hurry. Here comes Brabantio and the brave Moor. Brabantio, Othello, Cassio, Iago, Rodrigo, and the officers enter. Brave Othello, I have to send you right away to fight the Turks, our great enemy. Oh, I didn't see you there. Welcome, sir. I could have used your wisdom and help tonight. I could have used yours as well. Forgive me, your grace. I didn't get out of bed and come here in the dead of night because I heard about the war or because I was worried about the city's defense. I have a personal problem so painful and gut-wrenching that it overwhelms everything else. Why? What's the matter? It's my daughter. Oh, my daughter. Is she dead? She's dead to me. She's been tricked and stolen from me, enchanted by black magic spells. She must have been tricked or drugged because there's no way she could have made this mistake on her own. Whoever tricked your daughter and stole her from you will pay for it, and you yourself will determine the sentence as you see fit and impose the death penalty if you choose to, even if the criminal were my own son. I humbly thank you, sir. Here's the man, the Moor. It seems you had your own reasons for summoning him here. Ooh, we're all sorry to hear this. What do you have to say for yourself? Nothing, but this is true. Noble, honorable gentlemen, whom I serve, it's true that I've taken this man's daughter from him and married her, but that's my only offense. There's nothing more. I'm awkward in my speech, and I'm not a smooth talker. From the time I was 7 years old until 9 months ago, I've been fighting in battles. I don't know much about the world apart from fighting, so I won't do myself much good by speaking in my own defense. But if you let me, I'll tell you the plain story of how we fell in love and what drugs, charms, spells, and powerful magic, because that's what I'm being accused of, I used to win his daughter. She's a good girl, quiet and obedient. She blushes at the slightest thing. And you want me to believe that despite her young age and proper upbringing, she fell in love with a man she'd be afraid to look at? The very thought of it is ridiculous. You'd have to be stupid to think that someone so perfect could make such an unnatural mistake as that. The devil must be behind this. Therefore, I say again that he must have used some powerful drug or magic potion on her. You're saying this isn't proof. There has to be clear evidence that he's done this, not just these accusations. Tell us, Othello, did you trick or deceive this lady in some way, or did you agree to this as equals? Please, send for Desdemona to come here from the Sagittarius Inn and ask her to speak about me in front of her father. If she has anything bad to say about me, then you can sentence me to death. Bring Desdemona here. Iago, bring Desdemona here. You know where she is. Iago and attendants exit. In the meantime, I'll tell you as honestly as I confess my sins to God, how I wooed this beautiful lady, and how she came to love me. Tell us, Othello. Her father loved me, and used to invite me to his house often, continually asking me about my life and all the battles I fought. I told him everything from my boyhood up until the time when I was talking to him. I told him about unfortunate disasters, hair-raising adventures on sea and on land, and near catastrophes and dangerous adventures I've been through. I told him how I was captured and sold as a slave, how I bought my freedom, and how I wandered through caves and deserts. I was able to tell him about cannibals who eat each other and men with heads growing below their shoulders. When I talked about all these things, Desdemona used to listen attentively. If she had to go do some household chore, I noticed that she'd always come back quickly to hear more of my stories. When I was relaxing, she'd pull me aside and ask to hear some part of a story she had missed. Her eyes would fill with tears at the bad things I went through in my younger years. When my stories were done, she'd sigh and tell me how strangely wonderful and sad my life had been. She said she'd wish she hadn't heard it, but she also wished there was a man like me for her. She thanked me and told me that if a friend of mine had a story like mine to tell, she'd fall in love with him, and I took the hint and spoke to her. She said she loved me for the dangers I'd survived, and I loved her for feeling such strong emotions about me. That's the only witchcraft I ever used. Here comes my wife now. She'll confirm everything. Desdemona, Iago, and the attendants enter. I think a story like that would win my own daughter over. Brabantio, I urge you to make the best of this. Try to accept what's happened. Please let her speak. If she admits she wanted this, then I won't blame Othello. Come here, my child. Who do you obey here? Father, this isn't easy for me. I'm torn. I owe you respect because you gave me life and education. You're the one I have. You're the one I have to. Ugh. You're the one I have to obey. I'm your daughter. But this man here is my husband now, and I owe him as much as my mother owed you, just as she preferred you to her own father. So I have to give my obedience to the Moor, my husband. Well, I'm finished then. Duke, please go ahead with your state business. I'd rather adopt a child than have one of my own. Come here, Moor. I'm forced to give my blessing to this marriage. With all my heart, I'd give you that thing, which if you didn't already have it, I'd try with all my heart to keep from you. Desdemona, I'm glad you're my only child, since if I had others, I'd keep them all locked up. You would have made me treat them like a tyrant. I am done, my lord. Let me refer to a proverb that may help you forgive these lovers. If you can't change something, don't cry about it. When you lament something bad that's already happened, you're setting yourself up for more. You're setting yourself up for more bad news. A robbery victim who can smile about his losses is superior to the thief who robbed him, but if he cries, he's just wasting time. So if the Turks steal Cyprus from us, it won't be as bad as long as we keep smiling. It's easy to accept platitudes like that if you haven't lost anything, but I've lost something precious, and I have to put up the platitude as well as suffering my loss. Talk is cheap. I've never heard of someone feeling better because of someone else's words. Please, I'm asking you, go ahead and get back to your state affairs. The Turks are heading for Cyprus with a powerful fleet. Othello, you understand better than anyone how the defenses for Cyprus work. Even though we have a very good officer in charge there already, everyone says you're the better man for the job. So I'll have to ask you to put a damper on your marriage celebrations and take part in this dangerous expedition. Now, I've gotten used to the hardships of a military life. I rise to the occasion when faced with difficulties. I will take charge of this war against the Turks, but I humbly ask you to make appropriate arrangements for my wife. giving her a place to live and people to keep her company that suit her high rank. She can stay at her father's house. I won't allow it. Neither will I. And I wouldn't stay there. I don't want to upset my father by being in his house. Dear Duke, please listen to what I have to say. What do you want to do, Desdemona? When I fell in love with Othello, I made up my mind that I wanted to live with him. You can see how much I wanted to be with him by how violently I threw away my old life. I feel like I'm a part of him now, and that means I'm part of a soldier. I saw Othello's true face when I saw his mind. I gave my whole life to him because of his honor and bravery. If we're left at home uselessly while he went off to war, then I'm separated from my husband in his natural element. I'd be miserable without him. Let me go with him. Please allow her to do this. I'm not asking to have her near me for sex. I'm too old for that, and my sexual urges are dead. I want this because she wants it. I love her for her mind, and I'd never want you to think that I'd neglect my serious official duties while she was there with me. If I ever let love blind me so that I choose to lounge around in bed with my loved one instead of going off to war, then you can let a housewife use my helmet as a frying pan. My reputation would be disgraced if I ever acted like that. Well, you can decide that privately. I don't care whether she stays or goes. What's important is the urgency of this mission. You've got to act fast. You'll have to leave tonight. With all my heart, I'll go right away. We'll meet again at 9 in the morning. Othello, have one of your officers stay behind to bring you your commission and whatever else is important to you. My lord, my ensign is an honest and trustworthy man. He'll accompany my wife and bring whatever else you think I might need. All right, then. Good night, everyone. Sir, if goodness is beautiful, your son-in-law is beautiful, not black. Goodbye, Blackmore. Treat Desdemona well. Keep an eye on her, Moore. She lied to me, and she may lie to you. The Duke, Brabantio, Cassio, senators, and officers exit. I'd bet my life she'd never lie to me, Iago. I'm leaving my dear Desdemona with you. Have your wife attend to her and bring them along as soon as you can. Come on, Desdemona. I've only got an hour of love to spend with you and to tell you what you need to do. We're on a tight schedule. Othello and Desdemona exit. Iago, what do you have to say, noble friend? What do you think I should do? Go to bed and sleep. I'm going to go drown myself. If you do that, I'll never respect you again. Why, you silly man. It's silly to live when life is torture. The only cure is death. Oh, how stupid. I've been alive for 28 years, and I've never met a man who knew it was good for him. I'd rather be a baboon than kill myself out of love for some woman I can't have. What should I do? I know it's foolish to be so much in love, but I can't help it. Can't help it? Nonsense. What we are is up to us. Our bodies are like gardens, and our willpower is like the gardener. Depending on what we plant, weeds or lettuce, or one kind of herb rather than a variety, the garden will either be barren and useless or rich and productive. If we didn't have rational minds to counterbalance our emotions and desires, our bodily urges would take over. We'd end up in ridiculous situations. Thankfully, we have reason to cool our raging lusts. In my opinion, what you call love is just an offshoot of lust. I don't believe it. You feel love because you feel lust, and you have no willpower. Come on, be a man. Drown yourself? Drowning is for cats or blind puppies. Don't drown yourself. I've told you, I'm your friend, and I'll stick by you. I've never been more useful to you than I will be now. Here's what you'll do. Sell all your assets and your land. Turn it into cash. Desdemona can't continue loving the Moor any more than he can continue loving her. She fell in love with him very suddenly, and they'll break up just as suddenly. Moors are moody people. So sell your lands and raise a lot of cash. What seems sweet to him now will soon turn bitter. She'll dump Othello for a younger man. When she's had enough of the Moor's body, she'll realize her mistake. She'll need to have a new lover. She'll have to have it. So have your money ready if you want to go to hell. There are better ways to do it than killing yourself. Raise all the money you can. I can get the better of religion and a few flimsy vows between a misguided barbarian and a depraved Venetian girl. You'll get to sleep with her. Just put together some money. And to hell with drowning yourself. That's completely besides the point. If you're ready to die, you can risk death by committing crimes in an attempt to get the woman you want. Don't just give up on her and drown yourself. Can I count on you if I wait to see what happens? You can trust me. Go now, get cash. I told you before, and I'll tell you again and again. I hate the Moor. I'm devoted to my cause of hating him, just as devoted as you are to yours. So let's join forces and get revenge. If you seduce Desdemona and make a fool out of him, it'll be fun for both of us. Many things may happen. Go get money. We'll speak again tomorrow. Goodbye. Where will we meet in the morning? At my house. I'll be there early. Go home. Goodbye. Oh, and one more thing. What is it? No more talk about killing yourself, okay? Oh, I've changed my mind about that. Go then. Goodbye. Put a lot of cash together. I'm going to sell all my land. Rodrigo exits. That's how I always do it, getting money from fools. I'd be wasting my skills dealing with an idiot like that if I couldn't get something useful out of him. I hate the Moor. There's a widespread rumor that he slept with my wife. I'm not sure it's true, but just the suspicion is enough for me. He thinks highly of me. That'll help. Cassio's a handsome man. Let's see how I can get his position and use him to hurt Othello at the same time. How? How? Let's see. After a while, I'll start telling Othello that Cassio's too intimate with Desdemona. Cassio's a smooth talker and a good-looking guy, the sort of man that people would expect to be a seducer. The Moor is open and straightforward. He thinks any man who seems honest is honest. People like that are easy to manipulate, so it's all decided. I've worked it out. With a little help from the devil, I'll bring this monstrous plan to success.